Now, I'm just going to whiz ourselves on because many regular viewers of my show might remember the veteran Michael Lyons, who I had the pleasure of interviewing back in December. He was 91 years old at the time, he's a war veteran, a volunteer for the Royal British Legion, and he launched a campaign calling on servicemen past and present to light a candle in their windows in remembrance of all the soldiers who suffer from PTSD. He spoke movingly about his own time in the military.
When I was in, I had a couple of blank periods where I felt really, really down. I felt really down. I had a friend who was going and larking about with her, and a chap got shot. And all of a sudden it brought home to me, and I was standing next to him. It could have been me.
So he teamed up with his local MP, Natasha Irons, to organise a candle service at Westminster Abbey to remember World War I soldiers who died but were not given military graves due to having PTSD. Well, very sadly, Michael passed away earlier this year. But with the blessing of his family, the ceremony went ahead on Wednesday. And earlier today, I spoke to Michael's fellow veteran, Steve Palmer, who volunteers at the Royal British Legion and who was at that.
Lyons, I'd known for some time. He served in the army for about 7 years when he was younger. But for 30 years, he was involved with the British Legion, and in particular, he was involved with this campaign to try to get people who had died in essentially mental asylums following service to get them remembered, because their names don't appear on any memorial anywhere. Ex-servicemen who died in those circumstances, who at the time probably were considered cowards, the likelihood is they were suffering from what we now call PTSD. Sadly, as you've said, Michael died before we could have this service last night.
Can I just ask you a little bit about your experience in the military, if that's okay?
I served in the army for 11 years. I don't have any service-related PTSD. I've had mental issues like lots of people do. Dad, I must make a really important point. Most people who leave the armed forces are, like I was, hugely successful. But that doesn't mean that some of us, a minority of us, struggle in one way or another.
Absolutely, absolutely. And hopefully that will end up being at least part, anyway, of Michael's legacy going forward. OK, well, there we are. Coming up next...